As of writing the first 10 words of the script, Thinking Space 2 stayed at number 1 on the Pornocrate Demon list, making it the official top 1 in Geometry Dash. But like all other extremes, all the demon levels in general even, involves a lot of jumps along with difficulty of the jumps, which means a whole lot of clicking. So I saw the video made by Luminous GD, check his content out, they're some of the best Geometry Dash videos I've seen in a while, where he made a 1 second top 1, and even a nanosecond top 1. So I thought I don't even have to say you've already seen the title, that's why you're here, but I will anyway. What if I make a top 1 that only involves 1 click to complete? So what am I counting as a click exactly? We actually need to take this into consideration. A click in this case can involve any input device other than the mouse. This even includes your phone touchscreen, by the way, for all of you mobile players. A click in Geometry Dash, well, considered by most players, involve both the hold when you're holding on your input device and a release when you, well, release. This is considered 2 inputs, by the way, as observed in game modes like the wave and the shape, where there can be obstacles that involve you to release to avoid them. Well, 2 inputs feels so little to work with when building the top 1, due to it just being, well, 1 single click. So it needs to be way harder than something like Eternacy's first jump. So I had to put my little brain to use on how I could make gameplay as hard as, well, Thinking Space 2. So yeah, I had to think of a game mode to use out of all 8 different game modes. I instantly crossed out the ball, the UFO, the spider, and the swing. Now I want you to make a guess on why they were super inconvenient. So a release does absolutely nothing with these 4 game modes I just mentioned. You can't just click and the jump is pretty much over. So I checked the other 4 game modes. The Q seemed cool but not as good as the other 3 because it requires blocks for a release to be significant. Robot can be considered a good option but it's too dependent on blocks. It was hard to choose between the wave and the shape. It was not an easy decision but I decided to settle on, well, both. Yep, I made use of 2 game modes for this. As I already clarified, a click involves a hold and a release. But what if we just use only one of these? A release alone is never considered to be a click by anyone in the community. But release requires you to hold with your whatever you're using, right? Well, yeah, but you can also make a release in an attempt and it doesn't get registered by a click. Well, at least in both players' minds and event triggers. If you make a tap and hold right before an attempt starts, maybe after returning from death, it doesn't get registered by touch triggers or even event triggers. Players use this strategy in trying to achieve least possible clicks records, like Reacher for example. So I am still staying true to the 1 click rule in a way, and the title is not just click based, so I get straight to work with the wave game mode and at 4th time speed setting, since the faster the better, or harder in this case. So I make the release as hard as possible, I mean the tightest possible gap. By the way, I'm using clicks between frames for this madness. I did it to give me way more possible frames to click on, making it way harder than it looks. It's like one of the clicks in the denouement in the first wave section, I mean. Yeah, I said I was gonna make it 4 times speed, but we all knew that isn't enough. So I used the time warp trigger for more speed. So this is the final speed we're working on. Great. It leads to take you to a gravity portal that takes you to a new game mode, which is where things are gonna get way more brutally unplayable. The ship is the most complex game mode in terms of physics, as you already know. There's a lot of calculations required depending on what challenge. So all you kinda need is a really hard click and a hard release. For that, let's add the gravity trigger and, well, set the gravity to maximum level to make the player fall a lot faster. I also tried using force blocks, but clicking isn't even possible once you collide with a block. Well, vertically. Not gonna lie, that would be overkill, so let's just not make any more physics modifications. After you enter the ship portal, thought to include a pad before the real challenge, as it just felt right. And now it's time for the actual gameplay. Before that, I just want to mention that at 5,000 subscribers, I have an objective to beat an extreme demon, but you are forced to face your fears of confined spaces. Basically, there will be corridor gameplay all throughout the level. I need about 2,000 of you to do it. With the help of these trace hitboxes, I made a random click and release, thus placing spikes all around it. So basically I played the level before making the top 1, making me the first victor, because I predicted the future. So the layout's actually done. And let's be for real, this is actually top 1. It's not even close to Sonic Wave difficulty. I still have a few ideas funny enough, and they mainly include effects. The gameplay is invisible now, kinda. Not my best buff, but it really does the job well. I even did a practice run and the bare visibility was giving me eye strain. So how did I do in the practice mode run, you're wondering? Just to be over 200 attempts. By the way guys, I haven't beaten any extreme demons. I have 88% accurate. But the point is, I don't even come close to top player level. Clearly isn't top 1 difficulty yet, but I still had a few more ideas in mind. But the fact that they all limit your vision in a way. So why not add a 9 circles effect, but only with the background. Don't forget how fast the level really is, by the way, it's insane. Even in 0.33 times speed in practice, well, I could say that this was a real pain in the dick to play. Perfect. At this point, I thought the level already met top 1 difficulty with these jumps multiple times harder than Eternus actually is. I still added one last thing that affected your vision in a way, which was to hide the player, well, occasionally. Only the ship part, by the way, making it carry 90% of the difficulty. Let's be real, the wave release with luck isn't actually that bad. This means the level's officially done. Well, I need to make a click checker mechanic to make sure the player doesn't use more than 2 clicks to beat it. So here I present a bullet showcase, well never mind, a no clip showcase of the level. So I'll release this level on my account as soon as I get 50 likes from this video you're watching. It's also going to be an open verification. Since you're still here, join my Discord server if you want to communicate with me about pretty much anything. I shall see you in the next one. Guys, look, I'm making outros.